Hi everybody, it's Chris. Today I was thinking about Romans 8:28. All things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Over the last couple months, we've seen a lot of things that don't seem very good at all. A deadly virus, massive unemployment, an economic collapse, ambitious politicians just waiting to take advantage of the whole situation. And I continually ask myself, how is any of this good and how is any of this going to work together for good? And the straight answer is, I have no idea. But I do know that God knows what he's doing, that none of this comes as a surprise to him. And I also realize that my definition of good is much more narrow than God's. For the longest time, I thought that nothing was really good unless it directly contributed to my profit or my fun. I'm reminded of the old saying, if you can't eat it or drink it or spend it, well, what good is it? Or words to that effect. If I asked 100 people, is ice cream good? Just about all of them would say, yeah, ice cream is good. Well, how about cake? Yeah, cake is good. Well, what about pizza? Definitely pizza's good. But if I asked them, well, what about spinach? Now, the answer doesn't come as quickly. A person might say, well, yeah. Or they may qualify it by saying, well, spinach is good for me. And I'm slowly learning that God has probably the broadest definition of good in the universe. And I think if we are going to have any joy, at least in the short term, we've got to get on the same page as God. And we have got to allow him to mold us, to slowly but surely change what our definition of good is. To start seeking things and looking for things and valuing things that are good for us. A lot of folks have had a lot of things taken away from them, and it has been an opportunity to discover what's really important. And I know that is a cliche. I know we've seen that 100 million times on LinkedIn, but things get to become a cliche for a reason, and that's because there's a grain of truth to it. If I can make one suggestion, and that is, if you're not already doing that, just spend some time reading the Bible. Read the book of Psalms, or read one of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. Spend some time in prayer. Just give God an opportunity to introduce himself to you. And see if that doesn't start to change your perspective. See if you don't start to see things in a different way. That you can start valuing things that may, on the surface and in the short term, seem very unpleasant, but in the long term, could ultimately be good for you. It is rough out there. I'm not denying any of that. Things suck right now. There's no two ways about it. I'm not going to tell you to stay safe, because what does that even mean anymore? But I'll just say, stay alive, stay with us, and God willing and the creek don't rise, we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.